From here at La Roche's Curve Fitness Center. This is Zachary Weiss for PSN alongside Nate Bell, and we just saw an absolute demolishing on the Duquesne men's side. 90-54 the final here today, and we'll just toss it straight over here to Nate. Nate, just, as we said, a demolishing on Duquesne's side. Just what stuck out in your opinion?
Yeah, they're really moving the ball probably as well as they have all season. 24 assists the most all season. Dan Broad said they're kind of rolling right now. He feels like in practice, with the more practice they get, the more they show that they're finding each other on the court and off the court, rolling together. So I think the assists, just moving the ball, and then that just kind of opened up the shooting. Everyone was, Dunmartin had 6 threes, I think. Maceo Austin career high 18. They were all just kind of rolling.
Yeah, and speaking of rolling, I think Duquesne, circus-wise, in terms of talent-wise, they're known as shooting the three-point shot, depending on the three-point shot. But today, you look at their paint stats, and it's hard to ignore. 52 paint points out of the 90 points. And it's really easy to take and make three-point shots when you have the paint so involved. Dan Broad said during practice that Duquesne really was expecting the double team, which is something you saw in the VMI game, and it didn't necessarily happen because they had to respect the three-point shot, because Duquesne just inside out had everything covered. Like Nate said, TDM had a season high of 25 points. Maceo Austin a career high. Mike Hughes is very clinical from a passing perspective, and a season high, career high in that. And you also look at his 10 rebounds, big rebounds, which really were straws that broke the back of the opposing team, and this being Columbia tonight. Nate, just Duquesne getting a lot of recognition of late. They got 1 vote in the AP poll, and really they played like frontrunners really for the first time all season. Just what do you see with this confidence with these guys really starting to feed off of each other and people starting to take notice?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with their coach. He talked that he's trying to build a program here. And you got to kind of give it to him. He wants the media here. He wants everybody here. He lets his players know that they want to build something here, and those 8 wins, even if they're not against Power 5 conference schools, that they're wins, and they can build something, they can build your resume, knowing that they can maybe be undefeated going into conference play. So I think just any win counts, and it means a lot.
Dan Broad has said that he's a very cerebral, he's a very fuel coach, but he kind of knows when to put his foot on the accelerator with these guys and light into them, but he also knows when to take that foot off the accelerator and say, okay guys, you do you, just go play and roll the dice and see what happens. And at halftime, you'd expect with such a convincing lead that he would ease off and say, okay guys, just keep doing what you're doing. But no, he lit into them for exactly 4 minutes is what he said. And he doesn't have much of a voice to begin with, but when he talks, everybody listens. And that definitely was the case here tonight. With Duquesne, Tavian Dunmartin said it best in the press conference. With Keith Dambrot, you can't tell if they're 8-0 or if they're 0-8 because they just play with the same desperation and the same disposition on both sides of the ball. Moving forward, Nate, right now they were going into today one of 8 undefeated teams. What did you think of Duquesne coming to this one, having covered a game or 2 before, and just how much stronger or strongly do you feel about them now?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they're just moving the ball much better. They're playing well together. They don't really care who scores, who's leading the game and scoring. They can have 5 guys on any night getting 20 points. And like he said, Mike Hughes might have had his best game, but he only scored, 7 points. It shows a lot about how they've grown just in these 8 games. So I think it's just going to continue to roll, and just hopefully they stay healthy and just keep it rolling.
Duquesne's got a tough test coming up next. They've got a Radford team that's projected to make the NCAA tournament right now. They're a team that's known for being perennial powerhouses and doing that. And Duquesne's playing another home game of sorts because they're playing in Akron, which Keith Dambrot, if anybody knows Akron, I think Keith Dambrot, we can just rename him Mr. Akron. Just put the satchel above him, give him the little Miss America title, because that guy lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, and everything else is Akron. And
he's not going to want to lose that game.
No, and he didn't last year, and we're going to have coverage. PSN's going to have coverage of that game as well at Radford, and then they're on to Florida, so really we're not going to get to see them for a couple of weeks or so's time. So will Duquesne remain undefeated? We'll have to see which Duquesne team shows up, but right now 90-54, that's the story tonight in very convincing fashion. For Nate Bell, to my right, Zachary Weiss here, David Haig behind the camera, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your night.